Welcome to Learn English Through Stories, where every story teaches and every word matters. Learn English. Live the story. Let's begin.
Emma sat in the second row, near the window, always the same seat, always the same silence. She liked it there. The light was soft, the breeze sometimes carried the smell of the playground, and more importantly, no one ever asked her to speak. She wasn't invisible, not really, but she had mastered the art of being quiet without being forgotten. Teachers noticed her name on the list, but rarely called on her. Students knew she was kind, but not the kind you text after school. Still, there was one class that always made her stomach twist: English. It wasn't that she didn't like the language. In fact, she loved words. She just didn't love saying them out loud, especially not in front of people. Her English teacher, Miss Carter, had a voice like a soft piano, steady, warm, and never rushed. She never raised it, not even when students talked over her or whispered during lessons. Somehow, her silence was louder than other teachers shouting. Emma noticed that. She noticed everything, really. Sometimes when Miss Carter paused mid-sentence and looked at a student with one eyebrow gently raised, the whole room fell quiet. Not because they were afraid, but because they respected her. And maybe, just maybe, they didn't want to disappoint her. Emma didn't understand how someone could have so much control without ever needing to yell. It made her curious and a little confused. She had spent most of her life trying not to be noticed. Miss Carter had somehow made silence powerful. The group project started on a Tuesday. Emma was paired with 3 students she didn't know well: loud, confident, and quick to take over. From the first few minutes, it was clear they wouldn't ask for her opinion. They chose the topic, divided the work, and barely looked in her direction. Emma didn't complain. She preferred staying under the radar anyway. But it still stung. During group discussions, she tried to offer one suggestion, a sentence. But someone interrupted her halfway through, and she never finished it. Miss Carter walked around the classroom, listening, observing. When she reached Emma's group, she didn't say anything. She just stood nearby for a moment, then moved on. That night, Emma stared at her notebook, filled with ideas no one had asked for. She told herself it didn't matter. But it did. 2 days later, Emma forgot her homework. Not because she didn't care, but because she had stayed up late helping her little brother with his science project. It was a simple mistake, but for Emma, it felt like the end of the world. She sat frozen at her desk, the paper missing from her bag, heart pounding. Her face grew hot as Miss Carter walked down the row, collecting assignments. When she stopped at Emma's desk, Emma whispered, "I'm sorry. I forgot." She braced herself. For disappointment? For a sigh? For a look that said, "Really?" But Miss Carter just nodded and said softly, "It happens. Can you bring it tomorrow?" That was it. No lecture, no sarcasm, no disappointed tone. Emma nodded, barely trusting her voice. She had expected Miss Carter to lose her cool. But she hadn't. That calm response stayed with Emma longer than any punishment would have. The following week, it was time for presentations. Emma's group had barely practiced together. On the morning of their turn, 2 of her teammates were absent. The third, Jason, shrugged and said, "You'll have to handle it. I didn't really read the slides anyway." Emma felt her throat close. "Me?" Jason smirked. "You'll do fine." The teacher called their group. Emma stood slowly, holding the printed slides in shaking hands. As she walked to the front of the room, her legs felt weak. Her heart raced. Her voice, She wasn't even sure it would work. She turned to face the class. Everyone was watching. She was on edge. She looked at Ms. Carter. The teacher wasn't smiling. She wasn't frowning either. She simply nodded. Once. Emma took a breath. Then she spoke. Her voice wobbled, but she didn't stop. She thought she would mess up. But she didn't. Not perfectly, but enough. She had held her own. After the presentation, Emma walked back to her seat slowly, not even sure what had just happened. There was no applause, no dramatic moment, but no one laughed. No one interrupted. And somehow, that silence felt like the loudest thing in the room. Ms. Carter didn't say, "Good job." She didn't have to. She just met Emma's eyes and nodded again, a silent recognition between them. That day, Emma didn't hide her notebook inside her bag. She opened it, wrote down one sentence at the top of a fresh page. "I can speak when it matters." The next morning, Ms. Carter asked a question. For the first time ever, Emma raised her hand. She didn't speak up to impress anyone. She spoke because she finally believed her voice had value. It wasn't loud, but it was clear, and in that quiet room, that was more than enough. Years passed. Emma became a teacher, not because she always dreamed of it, but because deep down she knew the power one teacher could have. On her first day, she wore soft colors and carried a mug of tea that went cold by noon. She called roll with a steady voice. Some students looked her in the eye, others didn't. She saw herself in the quiet ones. One student, Maya, reminded her especially of who she used to be. Always prepared, always polite, never the first to speak. One afternoon, Maya forgot her homework. She stood frozen by her desk, eyes wide, cheeks red. Emma smiled gently and said, "It happens. Can you bring it tomorrow?" Maya blinked, then nodded. It was a small moment, but Emma knew it was a turning point. Later, Emma opened her journal and wrote, "She found her voice, just like I did." She didn't say it out loud. She didn't have to. She had come full circle.
Key idioms you learned. Under the radar, not drawing attention to yourself. Lose her cool, become angry. On edge, feeling nervous or tense. Hold her own, perform well despite difficulty. Speak up, express yourself confidently. Break the silence, be the first to speak or act. Keep her cool, stay calm under pressure. In her shoes, imagine someone else's experience. Turning point, a moment when something starts to change. Come full circle, return to where you started, but with growth. Useful expressions and phrases. She liked it there, describing comfort in a specific spot. It still stung, a soft way of saying something hurt emotionally. Not perfectly, but enough, accepting progress, not perfection. It was a small moment. But Emma knew, highlighting emotional awareness. Thanks for watching this episode from Learn English Through Stories, where every story teaches, and every word matters. If you learned a new expression or idiom today, give this video a like. Leave a comment to share your favorite part or what you'd like to learn next. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new story. See you in the next one.